All right, everyone. Here we are today with Vicki McHugh, and she is just going to resume. Okay.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, thank you so much for your invitation to speak with you today. I have been involved with the MDA for about the entire time I've been a physical therapist. Actually, my husband is actually also a firefighter, and so his involvement on that side from a community participation and engagement standpoint as well. So we are active on both the professional side of it as well as kind of community engagement side. So I'm happy to be here. I wanted to share with you a little bit about what we do from providing services in the natural environment to see where we're coming from with that being our practice approach. We've just recently added the home modifications division with an occupational therapist who serves as a consultant for design as well as collaborating with the contractors and getting the work done, and then also the follow-up with the training. One of the things that we have seen in the community is that you may be able to access that modification, but that person may or may not have the expertise to know what to do, help you implement that accessibility once it's actually done. And so accessing not only the changes in the home, but also equipment to be able to access those home modifications, and how best to work. Hold on, excuse me, pause, sorry, take your stuff. My daughter's with me and we're making a transition, so she's on her way out the door. Have fun. Multitasking as always. So the additional aspect of the home modification division allows us to help you see where those changes need to be made, but then also the training that can happen once it's completed to make you most successful in your home. So I'm an engaged educator. That's been my background, and so I kind of wanted to check in and see, and I don't know on the Facebook live stream if while you're looking at that, Terry, but if there are specific questions or areas of need, I would like to be able to address that so that I'm not just talking about something that's A, you've already known or heard all about, or B, not meaningful to you. So I'm going to give a little bit of an overview, but in a moment I'm going to check in with the people that are here and then any of our viewers from Facebook, that if there are things that you're interested in or that I can help address, I would be happy to do that. Our main focus as Key Complete Therapies is to provide a comprehensive team of rehab specialists that are meeting you where you are so that you're able to achieve the goals that are meaningful to you. We've all gone through our academic preparation and learned philosophies and principles, but until we have the opportunity to create solutions with the people that it's impacting, it's all just in a book to me. So that's really where our focus has been through the practice. We provide physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy services. We have a pediatric team and an adult team, as well as people that go across the lifespan, serving all age populations. Some of the main things that we work on from a physical therapy standpoint is helping you have success with not only access in your home, but then also community reintegration or community engagement. So things that we're looking at is how can you be most successful with the things that are important to you at home, whether that's getting in and out of your bed, your bathroom, your home itself, a vehicle, transportation accessibility for participating and engaging in the community. We work out of our cars and come into your homes or wherever we would be meeting you. So everything we have is portable, by some terms of definitions anyway. I did bring in one of our portable vibration plates that we use for whole body vibration therapy that is about 27 pounds. So after a long day of in and out of people's homes, traipsing that around, it feels like it's not so portable, but we get it done. And it's really, our agenda is really to break down the barriers to the highest level evidence-based practice that we can offer to our clients that maybe not being able to get into a clinic-based facility, or getting into that clinic-based facility is your day. What we have found is that if we can come to your home, you can have your day still. And so trying to find things that are meaningful to do, bring to the home to help you achieve the goals, whether it be balance, strength, all the regular PT world stuff. So we work on spasticity management, pain, edema management, like I said, balance, walking or mobility, accessibility. Floor transfers. One of the things that I love the most of being in this domain of practice is that I actually get to help someone in their reality, right? So I don't have to like figure out, is this going to be like your chair at home, or is it a little bit higher, a little bit lower, or how soft is your bed if you're trying to do a bed transfer, or do we need to line this up? In my clinic, you may be transferring in and out of a device. Do we line that up on the right side because that's where it fits in my clinic? But really at home, you're getting in and out on the left side. And so it lets me be creative about solutions, not about scenarios, if that makes sense. And I have enjoyed that probably the most, because what I have learned, what my clients have taught me over my 20 years of practice, is that people want to be in their homes and successful in their communities. And so this helps us. You guys write the scripts. We just come up with some of the details in how we can make that happen. From an occupational therapy standpoint, our pediatric team focuses a lot on working with people with sensory integration issues, autism, self-regulation, and then sort of the traditional fine motor skills of fasteners and writing implements and technology accessibility. Technology has really revolutionized accessibility in my 20 years of practice, and so we really are using a lot of our OT support services to help make sure that you're accessing the most meaningful adaptive tools and strategies to be able to do what's important to you, whatever that may be. Sometimes it's leisure activity, sometimes it's work activity, sometimes it's play activity, but trying to help problem solve and come up with solutions about what that means to you. We also provide services from our occupational therapy on oral motor control and feeding related to the oral phase, so lips, cheeks, the early tongue mobility and strength. So we do have specialists that focus on the feeding aspect as well. Vision falls into also a domain for occupational therapists, as far as being able to integrate what's being seen in the visual field into the mapping of the body and or balance, motor planning, coordinating movements to be able to engage with what it is from a visual standpoint that what you're seeing. And then the other sort of just general ADL stuff. So of course our OTs address like the bathroom, the dressing, the self-cares, all of the, standard OT domain of things. But again, I'll reiterate, but the thing that is awesome about what we're able to do is we can look and see how high is your closet bar and what do we do about lowering that or letting you have better access to reaching inside your bottom drawer of your refrigerator, or accessing both the top shelf of closet and the bottom shelf or the floor where your shoes are, because when we're setting up a home by just general contractors that have done a build, you think you're putting your shoes on the floor and your sweaters on the shelf, and that may not be a very realistic solution that's going to work in your day if you're not able to have that amount of excursion in your field of interaction for your tasks. From a speech therapy standpoint, our focus is kind of multidimensional. We not only work on traditional language, linguistics, articulation, but also feeding and the more of the swallowing aspects that fall into speech therapy that goes in combination with the feeding and growth standpoint. We also have augmentative communication specialists that work in some of that assistive technology for communication and maximizing successful language through alternative means if necessary. Cognition and memory and problem solving, executive functions is another domain that is common to work with our speech pathologist to help increase safety, problem solving, and ability to maintain as high a level of independence or active engagement in your responsible life functions as you can. And then I started off with our home modification stuff, so I won't go over that again. So that's a general overview. I'm wondering if there are if there are things specific as far as anyone that's here or listening that questions about, like, hey, this is something that I've tried to get solved and I'm not able to, or how would some more of a different paradigm might support something that you may currently have as a challenge, or in the past had it as a challenge that having an opportunity to talk to a fresh ear might offer. Is there anything in particular?
So I know Jared had, and he's watching, so so he had a question about your services not going through insurance, just like a cash-based, or
Sure.
kind of how that would work.
Sure. Well, as any business owner, if anyone wants to pay me cash, we're sure welcome that. Going through insurance is our primary mode of funding and reimbursement. But our cash, we do have a patient cash rate for clients that have either exceeded their insurance, don't have coverage, we're out of network, or sometimes it can be less complicated if you're funding it just privately. And so there, you would just need to contact our office and set up an appointment. Let them know that you're interested in services. And in the state of Nebraska and Iowa, we actually have what's called direct access in our licensure. So we don't need a physician's prescription to be able to treat patients. We just actually need the prescription and the physician to sign off on our plan of care if we're billing insurance. And not every insurance, but the bulk of them do require that. So there doesn't even need to be a physician referral or prescription sent. It's just contacting our office, letting us know what area or what questions you have, what problems we can help solve, and then that will help us know which discipline might be involved, and we can discuss the private rates at that point, depending on what the needs are.
Great. Wonderful, thank you.
We do serve, you said we serve the Omaha and Council Bluffs metro area. So we do go, as far down south as Plattsmouth, over to Glenwood, Valley-ish. And so we do serve about a 50-mile radius around the metro area. All of our therapists are credentialed in both Iowa and Nebraska. We are in network with all major insurance programs that are in the state, including the 3 managed Medicaid programs right now. So we generally have pretty good coverage with insurance, depending on what the logistics are. Some things that come up under non-insurance activities that are not covered by insurance would be things also that we would fall into that private pay. We have a family right now, the little boy has some difficulty with regulation, but he's participating in a community-based martial arts class. And so he's kind of having a difficult time participating in the group class, and the family has been so pleased with what the occupational therapist has suggested for his school-based and his home activities that they have asked the occupational therapist to come and observe one of the classes so that she can provide suggestions and recommendations, either collaborating with the instructor, depending on how that dynamic works out, or just giving the family strategies to help the child integrate so he can be more successful in something that he's wanting to do. That's not necessarily an insurance covered medical necessity thing, and so that's something that we work with on a consultation basis to be able to send our skilled therapist in, provide the context that we're bringing from that relationship, and the expertise to be able to say, this is important to you and your family. It doesn't fall into that medical necessity standpoint, but as far as that child being able to participate with his peers and develop some really peripheral life skills that will actually help with his OT, things that are challenging, it will be a win-win if we can get that to happen so that his recreational or leisure activities that the family has dedicated time to can also be integrated with the therapeutic benefit of what we're offering from a medical housed therapy standpoint.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is kind of fun.
Jared actually has another question. He wants to know about options for the vibration plate therapy. I'm not sure exactly what he means.
Not sure exactly what he means, but shall we walk over this way?
Yes.
And I can show you. So we have gotten these portable vibration plates that we bring in and out of people's homes to be able to use. Our use for them is quite varied in that, I'm going to swing this out of the way. Oops, maybe not. Let it go. Let it go. I won't sing. Are we good?
Yes, we're good.
Okay. And so this, depending on what the goals are that we would be working on, pain, spasticity management, strengthening, edema management, vocalization, secretion management, are all things that we're using and seeing clinical benefit with this. We bill under therapy for this service. We're doing the same stuff regardless of whether or not this machine's under you. And so we still bill just a regular, if it's under insurance, we still bill just one of our regular codes that we use for therapy, therapeutic exercise or neuromuscular reeducation. Do you guys want a coding class while I'm here? Yes, we'll spare you those details, right? But it is covered because what we're still doing is our clinical intervention. This is just one of our tools. So you may have been experienced on one of the foam pillows that's an Eric's pad, or you may have been on a Swiss ball. I didn't bring that, but like one of the big exercise balls. That doesn't matter that becomes a tool that we're using. We're still doing those interventions. So the, I don't know if I'm babbling on about something that's not meaningful to him.
No, I think this is good.
But we need about this much space. And so we come into the home, and the only problems we've had with it at all is in old houses on some of the floors. We get a little bit of earthquake-ish effect. Terry, you were just in California. Many earthquakes in Omaha, right? But it does, I'm going to just turn it on for demonstration purposes. It can get going pretty vigorously, and so on some of the houses, and then you'll see what my weight dampens it some. Okay, and so then we would do whatever. So with our infants, we may be working on transitioning from a side sit to a 4-point. We may be working on some tall kneel play where we would actually have them working, does my voice sound funny? That's probably enough. Have them working in that position, and we want to have it that high. Important asterisk. Yeah, good. We would not have it that high for our little people. For our little children, I shouldn't say little people, sorry about that. For youngsters, we wouldn't necessarily have it that high. But what we're doing is we're trying to help increase the proprioceptive input and also the motor input that allows the muscle spindles and some of the muscle neurology to interact a little bit differently than what you're able to create without it. Our speech therapist and occupational therapist are using it for a different reason than physical therapy would. Did you hear my voice as I was on it? So it is crazy, and actually I'm trying to get some collaboration with some of the speech academic programs because there's no research about it, but we see low verbal or nonverbal kiddos that just wake up their voices when they're on it, and there's something about it because we're not doing anything else from a therapist intervention about like, hey, all of a sudden we try this new prompt or activity to try to elicit their vocalization. But back in my day, we'd do it in front of the old oscillating fans where you'd be like, and it would make that noise, and for fascination for lots of minutes about how your voice can reverberate and give you that feedback. And we've seen the same thing happening with children that haven't found their voice yet, which has been really fascinating. The other thing that this does, it is a little bit unstable just without the vibration, but there are some shocks in there that help absorb some of the movement, but what it's doing is creating a dynamic surface automatically by being on it, and then as you change and put on that vibration, it's giving a dynamic surface. And so it's requiring a different level of integration and feedback loop for your body to kind of figure out where are your muscles, what are they doing, who's active, who's not active. We've seen it really, really positive with clients with some spasticity to help diminish the cramping, the actual level of tone. We have a client right now who actually gains about 25 degrees of dorsiflexion just by having her feet in a non-weight bearing like in a seated position, she puts her feet on it, and over 20 minutes, she gets about 20 to 25 degrees of dorsiflexion just by the inhibition that's happening through that vibration. So it's been really exciting for kids that are sensory seeking, well, children and adults that are sensory seeking. It gives a lot of input. And so for our friends that are working on regulating and sensory integration, it's some people may have seen like pillows that have a vibration tool inside of it, or like the just traditional children's toys that that vibrate as part of their stimulation. Bassinets often, and little kids' bouncy seats often will have a vibration aspect to that. So there's a soothing aspect that can happen for helping with our clients that are seeking either elevation of their sensory input or also inhibition of it or diminishment, dampening of it, so that they're able to process the other things that are happening around them a little bit more congruently and with fewer variants.
So you're in a chair and can't step on that?
Yep, nope. So
what is it all new?
You are, so that's what I was, yep, you can certainly use it in this position. Like I said, for our younger folks I actually have some clients that we work with chronic pain that I have come down, and they're more mobile, but we're doing stuff like this to help with the spine and the muscles in the back to relax. It helps with, we're using it right now also with clients with lymphedema and lipidemia to help with that small friction, creates a huge change in circulation and management of edema. So no, we pretty much will put almost anybody on this. And I brought it, so the people that are here live, sorry Facebook friends, but you're welcome to, it's one of those fun gadgets that you can play with and feel and see. Some people don't like it. Some people take some time to get used to it, and some people it's not the right tool, just like the pool or the Swiss ball might not be the right tool. So it's one of our options that we work with.
Awesome.
Does that answer your question, Jerry? Because that was a pretty, you can let us know if there's more specifics about that.
He does have a question about, he says, it's cool, it's perfect, and can you incorporate a standing aid?
Yep, for sure. I don't have an example here, but yes. So what we would do is we would have to either create an elevated surface in some manner, depending on what we have available at home, to where we would have the gait device with it. Mm-hmm. Or we would have, depending on what the device is, if we can elevate it, if we can raise it high enough to be able to have it high enough for the weight bearing.
Cool.
The other thing we have done is done it at a counter, or closer to the wall, so that we have external support versus, like, we don't travel with parallel bars, right? So that's a no-go. But there may be a handrail in the home. We do have someone that uses the spindles on their stairwell. And so we assist them to transfer up onto it, and then it's not truly their gait device. He's using the Life, it's that gentleman that we tried, that new walker. Anyway, it's not his gait device, but it gives him the support that he needs because he's holding the handrails on his stairwell that goes upstairs. So again, in your home, we figure out how that happens, and it's usually not the same for very many people.
To get it on there would be
what is it?
I can stand, but to get it on there, I don't know how that would be possible.
Yep, so what we would do, typically, if you're transferring from a sitting position, we would get you situated here and make your transfer here. With assist, if need be, of course. And that would just be however you do it. Your sit to stand if it's from the floor, and we need to elevate the seat of the chair that you're coming from as the starting point, so that your transfer becomes this instead of this. That's where we get to have the fun, is problem solving and figuring out how that works for you at home.
I think for Melissa, you could elevate your chair and then step off and stand on it.
I already had to elevate it
to stand.
Stand on regular floor.
Okay.
So that would be. I already
instead of
it to the mat.
To do that transfer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can't elevate it anymore.
So that would be, that's where we would have fun and problem solving and figuring out, is there a way that you do a sit to stand from the chair regular and we manipulate it. Our goal, these are pretty affordable, and so our goal is actually to have it as a tool for, depending on what the benefit that the client is getting. Some people have purchased their own, if we can get it to where they can use it independently or with a caregiver in the home. Otherwise, it remains one of our special intervention options that we bring as part of our treatment sessions. Is that good? Is there anything else? Is Jared? Hi, Jared. Okay, we can come back to that if that. But we really do use it in across the spectrum of conditions that we're working with. It's been really, really valuable tool, and the fact that it's portable meets our needs. I mentioned in passing about the pool. I don't think I said that at the beginning, that we also do have community partnership where we're working with aquatics. A couple of different locations here in Omaha that we are able to do pool-based services, and one of them does include a zero entry pool that has wheelchair accessible a water wheelchair for accessibility too. So even though we are mostly in the client's home or day program or daycare, our focus is community integration and community participation. So we do offer aquatics as well, sidebar.
And the aquatics, the water wheelchair is phenomenal. I use it, this is Terry, I use it once a week with the physical therapist that I'm working with, and it's phenomenal. I transfer from my chair to the water wheelchair. She wheels me in. I get out as soon as I'm able to stand up on my own. She wheels it back out. So I'm not wasting all of my energy just getting in and out of the pool. I'm able to do what I need to do, my exercise, and then she wheels it back in as deep as I need it, and then she wheels me back out. I transfer, and I'm done. So it's awesome.
We do that at one of the local YMCAs, and so at that we also do have access to all of their fitness equipment, including treadmills, weight stacks, the elliptical, the stationary bikes too. And so we have done some of those activities with clients that are moving more toward a fitness routine to help promote like breaking down that barrier also, like, well, I'm not going to go lift weights, I'm not even sure how I'm going to get on and off the machine or what's the right level, and that's not something that you would necessarily entrust a personal trainer at the facility to be equipped to do. And from an insurance standpoint, it is able to be covered as a skilled service because of if there's a complexity such that requires more skilled assessment and planning to make that transition to make that transition for you safe, to be able to participate. So that's been a great resource and partnership with the Y that we've developed in the past year or two.
It's awesome. I love it. Can you tell us about your other modes of therapy that may be different than what we would have normally experienced at a regular physical therapist? So like the anodyne therapy.
Oh, sure.
And because I don't even really understand what it does, I just know that it was helpful for me.
Sure. Again, we're portable. So one of our, are you comfortable if I sit?
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't have some of the modalities that are traditional in a standing clinic space, but some of the things that we do offer one of them includes an anodyne therapy, which is a infrared laser therapy. It is a modality that helps with inflammation and promotes cellular healing. And so we use it from a pain management and acute injuries or tendinitis or injuries related to the muscle tissue or joints. We found good success with it also with like fibromyalgia, radiation, chemo-related neuralgia, and then its original device, that's not what its original use was actually for wound healing in the diabetic population, and so we use it. It has been expanded since that original introduction and we use it for wound healing as well. But sometimes that wound is under the surface of the skin, and that's where that inflammation, irritation, joint sprains, those kind of injuries are really, really responsive to that modality. We also provide more traditional electrical stimulation through either a TENS unit or an NMES, neuromuscular electrical stimulation. We not only do the whole body vibration plate therapy, but we utilize just more localized neuromuscular input through handheld vibration therapy, like oral motor, Z-Vibe, some different directed input into those joints and muscles. I actually am credentialed as a certified tape for certification in kinesiotaping as well as dry needling. And the kinesiotape is a good resource for neuromuscular re-education, pain management, edema management, and we use that a lot. We also, the dry needling is, I'll just explain it. Dry needling is using the same tool as an acupuncture needle, but it is coming from a Western medicine approach that looks at a etiology of a localized pathology or injury, and creating a micro trauma to that spot to elicit the cascade of healing cellular response. So if you have a sore shoulder, in acupuncture, I don't mean to quote, there's no quote there, in acupuncture, you would maybe consult with a traditional Chinese medicine approach of chakras, energy paths. Your shoulder hurts, you might get a needle in your ankle and your wrist and your shoulder. From a Western medicine with dry needling, we're going to go right to that shoulder, pinpoint where that hurts, try to create a micro trauma with the needle, and allow your cellular response to come in and bring the anti-inflammatory anti-inflammatory cells to clean up what is stagnant in there, either an acute injury. If it's an acute injury, obviously that's not stagnant, but oftentimes it's more of a chronic injury. So that injury can become a pocket of some stagnant cells, and so we're trying to go in there and create a wake-up call and get some fresh cells into that area to help clean it up and wash out some of that inflammation and some pain management. What else? We have several of our occupational therapists that are credentialed in specific body movement and motor sequencing, visual integration, sensory integration, oral Beckman feeding protocol. So those are not in your everyday outpatient clinic necessarily. As you get into pediatrics, there's some standard credential certifications that people may be offering or talking about. Are there others that you had in mind, Terry? I'm trying to think what else. Oh, we also do cupping. That's another inflammatory and pain management tool that we have. Again, trying to be as targeted to modalities that are easily transported into the home and also making some good impact. And so cupping uses the concept of creating a negative pressure at the tissue level, creating a suction cup actually on the tissue, which draws the layers of your subcutaneous tissue apart. That creates a negative pressure, which allows the circulation to increase, bringing in clean blood and good cells for cleaning up congestion and breaking down some of those cells that are creating that pain.
So speech therapy, like I'm noticing swallowing is getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I notice it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's told me that, but and if I wanted therapy, I would just call you guys.
Yep.
And I have to do a whole, testing first to
Sure. Good
see
question.
what I can do and what I can't.
Yep. So if you, and this is across the board, but for our practice, if you're interested in accessing services, and you want us to build insurance, there are two ways to go about it. One is to call our office, and then we would facilitate getting a physician's prescription. If you're not going to go through insurance, then you just call our office, and we get you set up based on, again, depends on how much information you know about what you're looking for, but if it's a speech therapist and it's a swallowing issue, then we would collect our intake information. If that includes insurance, then we check your insurance benefits to make sure, A, that we're in network, and B, if there's a financial responsibility that falls to you, that you're aware of that. I don't like to get bills I don't expect, and I hate to send bills that people don't expect, and so we're pretty thorough about that, but as always, it's just the information that we can get from the insurance company about what that deductible is, how much has been paid toward it, remaining benefits, and that kind of thing. And then our therapists get assigned kind of a to-do list that would be any new referrals, and so they get, then what happens next is the client is contacted by the actual treating therapist, and that therapist and the client agree on a time that works for both of their schedules, come in and do an evaluation. Again, you're going to identify what your concerns are. If it's a physician's office that's sending it, they're sending what their diagnosis and concerns are, and that therapist will come in and do an evaluation based on that kind of first part of the interview to discern what your priorities are, what the issues are, what problems we can help you solve, and then together develop a plan. If that is that we have the tools that we need to help you address those solutions, find those solutions, and then if not, then we try to help identify a referral to a community partner, someone that would be able to identify what we've heard and feel are the clinical issues. We're not the best fit for everyone, and so we are part of this community and work actively to make sure that the clients that we have interaction with are getting what's best for them. So we work hard to make sure that we don't try to fit everyone's needs when we're not the right one, but when we can, then we develop those goals and a frequency plan with the client and or their family, and then you set up your ongoing schedule and they come to your house and it's like magic. And then we bill direct to insurance if insurance is involved. If physicians are involved, we do have compliance with insurance. If insurance is involved, we do have compliance with how frequently we need to get orders from the physician's office and how we update the physician's office, because they are signing off and oversee what the therapist recommendations are.
For your therapist to know what's going on, they ever order a test, like a swallow test, to just know.
Yep. So we work.
What you're doing.
We work with referrals, not only like if we're not the right therapy group to refer out to that, but then also with other ancillary or other medical team members. And so we would work with getting you in and making recommendations to get the order done for a swallow study. If you need bracing, we would work and collaborate with the orthotist's office, either that you have an established relationship with, or we can share with what our experiences are. For the couple in the groups in town that provide services, if you need DME, we work very close. I didn't even talk about that. That's asterisk. We'll come back to that. We do a lot of DME, and so having evaluations with whichever, again, if you have an established relationship, there have been a lot of changes with that, so trying to help navigate that and make sure that we're all getting to the solution in the most efficient way possible. If we are looking at some of those community referrals or other medical team member referrals, it's not uncommon that we would offer to come and join you in that collaborative appointment. So I regularly go to orthotist consults when I'm the one that's saying, hey, you know what we really need here is this new brace or this type of device, or orthotic. And so we like to have that FaceTime and build that relationship with the person that we're saying, hey, this client needs something that we're not able to do. So how can we make sure that we're all on the same page of meeting those goals? Generally speaking, the therapist has more face time and not like this, more real time with the client and one of the strongest working knowledge of what their challenges are and what solutions we're as a team trying to achieve. And so it's not uncommon at all for us to go to the swallow.
Trying to reconnect. Okay, good. Sorry about that.
And then if we don't go, then we get the reports back and we integrate that into the information, how we're managing the clinical interventions.
So that was ordered, that would be probably covered by insurance as well?
Yes.
I mean, if you're already, if the therapist already covered anything that they order.
Not any, that's a good question. So that's always a fun explanation, and that comes up a lot with DME. I have a physician's order for it. And so it's still up to the physician or the insurance company to determine what they see as medically covered and medically necessary based on what your benefits are. I would speak out of turn if I made any sort of group or a collective statement about this. I would be surprised if you had a physician's order for a swallow study if it wouldn't be covered. I don't quote me on that, but those are things. Now, if we're trying to get you a new pair of braces, that goes into a new category of pull your hair out, who knows, or a different wheelchair XY. There are some things that are really hard to get authorized. If you haven't had a swallow study and fall into a complex neurological condition that's a common sequelae, then I would be very surprised if you have any trouble getting that covered with clinical symptoms that support that. So I wouldn't think that would be, again, that's something that we try to really be strong advocates for our clients in making sure that everyone's on the same page about that. And almost all providers at this point are doing prior auths on things that are gray areas based on coverage at this juncture, because there have been a lot of changes with what's being covered and in what domain, what's being deemed as medically necessary and stuff. So as providers, we're being really proactive being proactive on collaborating with our other healthcare team members to make sure that nobody's getting unhappy about bills that aren't covered. Nobody wants it at all. So yeah. Is that helpful?
Mm-hmm. And if I've had a swallow study like 3 years ago and I want a new one,
yeah,
can they kind of compare and see
that's exactly what would happen.
See how much I've lost?
Any changes that are, yep, that's exactly why that would be a helpful tool right. to have as part of the clinical management piece. Especially if it's been that long ago, in your case in particular, and you're having clinical symptoms that are new and different, that would certainly be, should be a pretty clean request, I would think.
So as far as your DME, if it's time to get a new chair, you actually go with the client?
Almost always we do our wheelchair consults in conjunction with the ATP or vendor. We should touch on that really quickly because so things have, depending on your age group, things have changed with that. There used to be sort of a word on the street that every 5 years you could be eligible to get a new chair. There are extensive changes with funding related to DME. And so what we're seeing and what the vendors are seeing is that is not necessarily as clean of a checkpoint. Like it used to literally be like, who cares what's wrong or what's working, and you'd literally be able to just get the next chair then because of a time stamp, and that is not the case at this point. In fact, wheelchair DME is an area that insurance companies, in particular the Nebraska Medicaid system, is really becoming thin on. For some reason, that seems to be a zone that they've identified as trim the fat. I don't think there's much fat, but we are having quite a bit of challenge with getting DME covered in the state of Nebraska. Not so much with commercial insurance products, but some of the bigger carriers are really showing some limitations with what they're looking at. Now what they require more so than ever is what is the existing device providing, what is it not doing, and what would it be to fix or bring that one up compared to a brand new one. And so they are doing a very narrow cost assessment, and the vendors are putting those budgets, I don't know what the right word is, specs together of, I have this wheelchair and I want a new one. And they would say, what is wrong with this one? What need is it not meeting? And how much would it cost to change this one to bring it up to what, here's the one I really want, and this is, the brand new one, and this is whatever it does. And so it's looking at what the cost of that is and the cost of changing and modifying this one, trying to get every dime out of the lifespan of this one that they can. And that is a pretty present experience. I don't know what the right words are. It's all happening a lot.
Annoyance.
Yeah.
Oh.
Annoyance. That's per Melissa. Thank you for that adjective. But that's a big one. And I'll do a little side note for that. For any of your participants, members that are covered under the Nebraska Medicaid program, I personally am very, very actively engaged with our Nebraska chapter, physical therapy chapter reimbursement committee. And we have a group of stakeholders from PTOT Speech and the Home Health Association. We are working very actively and professionally, I was going to use a different word, professionally, we are working to really be strong advocates for our clients and trying to provide feedback to Heritage Health about what isn't working out with some of the changes that have been made. And so I am going to put this plug out there that if anyone is working with Nebraska Total Care and experiencing challenges, I would encourage you to make your concerns known. Nebraska Total Care has made some significant changes in what they are providing as covered services through their authorization process, and it is substantially impacting many of our clients. And so there is a vein through the Nebraska Total Care website as well as through the Heritage Health website to file issues or complaints with them. Senator Crawford is the senator that oversees the Health and Human Services Committee within the legislature that oversees Heritage Health, and their committee is very, very interested in hearing from constituents about what the impact of the changes that have been made are. And there are also advocates through Appleseed, which is a legal firm in Lincoln that works on social disparity issues, and they are very much welcoming input from constituents and members that are receiving cuts in their services and that are impacting their success in their community. And so Appleseed is also eager to hear from members that are being negatively impacted so that they can go into action and advocate for some changes.
Is that just Medicaid?
That is just
not Medicare stuff.
It is not Medicare stuff. It is just Medicaid right now for Nebraska. Yeah. On a different note, we should talk about anything else besides that, because that is a really rotten spot to kind of close on. Let's see, what else? I don't actually know.
Do you guys have any questions?
I don't know if I have a specific, I guess I would like to point out, like, I'm sure everybody else has experienced this too, but just, I guess challenges that I've experienced with going to like regular physical therapy places. So it's really refreshing and great, and it's kind of exciting to hear that you guys kind of do like the in-home. And I mean, I don't really need anything, not necessarily like modifications right now, but just I went to physical therapy places in the past. I go like my ankle's really bothering me or this or that, or I'd like to strengthen my legs, and ran into a lot of obstacles and I guess difficulties with them not understanding, like, no, I can't do that, like get up from the floor. And it's like the basicness of, you know, those abilities that I can't do, just kind of like oh, can you do this? And it'd be like a 10-minute demonstration about what, actual physical strengths that I have. Like, I can't lift my leg backwards if I'm laying down. And it was kind of like, I felt like we hit a wall very quickly.
Sure.
And finding like,
the 10
leg
exercises
strength.
they want you to
right,
do.
Yeah, it's like, well, I can't do that, I can't do this, and it was kind of difficult to have to try to explain that to the person that's trying to help you. Kind of like, no, I'm gonna like definitely wear myself out just doing that one thing, So it was kind of frustrating doing that because you're already going there because you're having difficulty doing something, or losing a lot of leg strength, or wanting to get strengthening, activities or exercises that you can do. So I'm kind of really interested in trying you guys out and seeing what maybe that would this obviously would be much better for me. It would probably be much more helpful. So so you guys just will come to your house, and if you just want like simple stuff like exercises and like strengthening things to do, you could send someone out.
And really our focus with the clients with complex neurological conditions is to try to integrate them into something you're already doing. And so it's like because we actually want it to be like, if you can be doing that task and you do that task anyway, and we can elevate that to be more therapeutic for you, that's the goal, because actually we don't want you to be tired out by doing the strengthening exercise, but if we can help you do what you're doing in a different way that either is energy conservation or therapeutic, and you happen to get it done at the same time, that's kind of our specialty. We have so yes, that's what we would look at and figure out how do we do this with the resources that you have, both like actual physical resources because of whatever condition is going on, and then also in the home, whatever resources, or in your workplace or your fitness club or where you're gonna be, so that we can make it meaningful to you, that it's something that you can integrate and apply to your 24.
Right.
That's just as many hours as you have.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's great.
So that is what I think our niche is, and our specialty really is, that we're not really gonna do, like, sidebar, but we just got a new documentation system for my company, and the exercise program that you can do, and I'm like, we're creating our own stuff because we're not doing those like 4 set of exercises that you do for strengthening your leg. It's like, that's too bad. But it's exciting, and it really is requires more of that. That's where I get excited about the challenge of like, oh, how would we strengthen your hip extensors when you probably couldn't hear that. How do you strengthen your hip extensors when that muscle group doesn't work because of your condition? So what can we do to help you get better with that transfer, maintain your standing balance differently, and that kind of stuff. So
that's awesome.
I've been going to therapy for once a week now since April.
Okay.
And now I'm doing aquatic only, but I was doing land. And they show you what's new on the nice mat where you're sitting and in the perfect position, and a lot of the resistance bands.
Sure.
And they show me how to do it. I do it right there. I go home. I forget, or I'm not in the same sitting position.
Yeah.
And it's all
You don't have a plinth at home to sit
Yeah,
on?
I don't have a So then I don't do it. And then I'm like, I learn when I'm there how to do these things. And I kind of write down.
Sure.
But then I totally forget.
Well, it's not
one
applicable.
thing that you could try to do, we do this a lot at home or in our practice, and so you can take this and let your therapist help you more, is video on your phone, or even just pictures on your phone, and then that way you can put an alarm, and it links you to those videos or to that camera, those pictures into that album. And so technology has really changed what we can do. Who am I telling? Sorry, that I didn't mean to be. Really? Okay, that's embarrassing. But anyway, so we were using a lot of that though, to be able to say, these are functional reminders. Everyone's plugging it in. The other thing is I would experiment and ask your therapist to figure out what you can do in your chair that would give you a similar therapeutic benefit that they're trying to offer you on the mat, because where are you to do your exercises?
Even that, I'm kind of weird because I leave my chair in my garage.
Oh, okay.
I walk around my house.
Oh,
So I don't even like him showing me what's new in my chair.
I
I'm
okay,
very-
that is something. No,
I'm very
that's
unique.
if you're not in your chair, that's not the place to do it either.
When I'm in my house, I'm like, well, why do I do this? That will mimic what I would do
Yes.
on there.
Our fun part about that is that barrier gets removed for us. It's like I don't have to even try and create that, because I'm just like, where are you going to sit? Where are you going to be when you're going to do your exercises? And then we do it from there. So I don't even have, like you guys do the hard work on that. I come up with solutions when it's not working or it's not therapeutic. But that's what, I mean, on one part, it's a harder paradigm to practice in sometimes. On other sides of it, though, it's like, oh, this is easy, and the compliance, or we use that word, I don't like it, the compliance or participation is like so much higher for our clients in the home, because you don't have to figure out where to do it, and you stop because it's not worth that effort of figuring it out, or you're not successful with figuring it out. So
you kind of walk around the home and see.
oh yeah, pretty much. Like, we're going into this room, can you show me into that room? Or where do we need to be that's meaningful for you, and we can get what we need done.
Yeah, they've helped me like with tub transfers, because maybe I had a hard time getting my leg over the tub, or getting my legs into bed without twisting my knee, and
The laundry door.
The laundry door, how do I push open the laundry door without using my foot, which is what I was doing, which is causing ankle issues. So, I mean, they're just willing to just come in and step in and do whatever I ask. I need help doing this task. How do I do it? Or am I transferring in my van okay? Can you help me watch and make sure I'm not twisting my knee when I'm transferring from my chair to the transfer seat in the van? And so, I mean, I've worked with you all guys for a little over a year or two.
Off and on, yeah.
Off and on for a year or two, and it was okay. Before the portable vibration plate, we went to this gym, and which was like a couple blocks from my apartment, so it was super easy to go over my lunch break and just go and do my vibration plate training, just me and the PT, and then we'd go back to work and it'd be all fine. And then when that vibration plate wasn't available after we had taken a break, we went to, I think, where you guys do billing, and someone's personal home, and used their vibration plate because it was accessible, and that was amazing. And then you guys got the portable ones, and that was even better. Even better with the winter time. I didn't have to go out and try to get situated in the car when I park outside, and so it worked out really well for me. And now I'm doing pool therapy, which is awesome. And the kinesiotaping has really helped. I've had a lot of swelling that no one else has been able to get rid of. I asked doctors, I said, what is this? Because there's just like lumps on the inside of my legs, and I don't know what they're from. And I went to get new compression stockings last year, and I asked the lady, I said, do you know what this is? Because I have these weird, and it's kind of painful. I don't want to massage it because it's painful. I don't know what it is. And she said, oh, I bet that's swelling from your leg braces, because it doesn't have anywhere to go. You wear your leg braces all the time, and it's just stuck. It's just pooled there. And so working with Vicki has been wonderful, and she did some kinesiotaping, and now it's decreased by leaps and bounds. So, I mean, and the kinesiotape, it's pushing the fluid up my leg. It's not, I don't know how it does it. It's magical tape.
It is magic tape.
But
That's what it's called.
It's awesome. So there are all these different modalities and ways, creativity, and all of these different things that I'm so glad that you were here today and shared everything, because there's so many great opportunities for people like us who have a hard time getting around anyway. Maybe we're experiencing something that we didn't experience previously. We're progressing, or maybe we're able to get some strength back and continue living our lives, which sometimes when those, as everyone knows here, it's just complicated. You know, you go somewhere, you talk to a physical therapist who has no idea what you're going through, what you're experiencing. You try to educate them, and it's just a big kind of waste of time at the end, because you're not able to do what you need to do. And your team has the knowledge and the ability and the creativity to come in and say, let's figure it out, which is wonderful. So
That's great.
Thank you. Yes, I have a phenomenal team of therapists, and so it just speaks volumes to the group.
How many people do you have?
We have 36 professional therapists on staff, and about less than half of them are full-time, but they're combined between PT, OT, speech, and then physical therapist assistants.
So awesome. Cool. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I guess I have one. I don't really know if it's really related to what you guys do,
Okay.
but like smart home integration stuff. Do you guys do much work with like figuring stuff like that out, just to kind of make different things like easier to do? I guess.
We work with the tech people that do it,
Okay.
but we're not the tech people. I was telling someone that you wanted to do Facebook Live, and I'm like, I don't know what that exactly means, but so we're not the tech people, but we definitely have that angle of the accessibility that you may be like knowing some parts of that, but that accessibility in the home is also parts of it that we're like, you may or may, the technician may or may not know about like the automatic doors and that's a lame example because that's simple, but like
that or like the smart light bulbs or anything like that.
Yeah. So helping us we can serve as that go-between between hearing what your challenges or barriers are with the tech person to be like, well, these are the 3 ways that you can do that.
Okay.
Or 1 way, I don't know. So, but yeah, we would be that go-between.
Okay.
Also with like install on some of the modifications, it's not uncommon that someone's like, I need a grab bar. And the tech, they call the handyman to do it. And they're like, the handyman comes in, person comes in, it's like, where do you want it? And the person's like, I don't know, on the wall. And it's like, oh shoot, you should have checked with a therapist because we don't want it, they'll put it like a towel bar, but we need it at a 30-degree angle for the change of the incline or whatever, and it's like, oh. So oftentimes we're just like, and our occupational therapist that specializes in it, and that's leading the home modifications division is actually a realtor as well. And so she has that angle of like maintaining and preserving the home value and resale vision, so that you're not just like, tear out the wall, nobody cares, how are you, there are important things to take into consideration when you're investing that kind of money into modifications. And so she's a great resource in the community, and has been in the metro area and specializing in home modifications for 20 plus years. 25 years. It's Bev Van Phillips. Yay! So we're thrilled. Yeah. Well, I do. Oh, did you have another question? I'm sorry. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, I do very much appreciate your time and
Thank you so
your
much.
engagement in the thoughts and questions. And I did bring some propaganda, some cards and flyers and brochures. I don't know if you want to picture them or whatever.
I'll take pictures of them and put them on the.
So they're there. Feel free to let us know. We're pretty accessible for phone calls too. If there's, like I said, really trying to make sure that we're helping clients find the best match for what their solution oriented problem solving is. So if we're part of that, we'd love to be, and if we can help you find someone that is a better fit, we're game with that too.
Thank you so much.
Bye.